Welcome back to 21 Minute Reads with me, Maya D. This is kind of like my virtual book club because in these 5 minute or so videos, I share with you my takeaways from my current reading. And right now, that is Hot Feet and Social Change. As a part of the Read 21 and 21 challenge, I read 21 minutes per day, every day as an action of self love, as an investment into myself, as a way of providing myself with some consistency in an ever changing world. I hope that you will join me along in this journey by subscribing to the channel and liking the video and dropping some comments down in that comment section so that we can have an actual dialogue. Remembering that I am in no way the know all be all about these books. I'm simply creating a space for us to dialogue and grow together. So this week I read pages 76 through 99, and here are my takeaways. Takeaway number 1, nothing. The quote reads, "Not one blessed thing, Kamal." This quote is from Baba Chuck Davis, and it's in the I Go, I May section of the book, and it's pulled from an interview where Dr. Kamal Nance asked Baba Chuck, if you could go back and change anything, what would it be? I felt that this was so poignant because it is not too long following Dr. Baba Chuck Davis, as some of us call him also, Baba Chuck Davis's explanation of why my generation is not ready to run our own companies. Baba Chuck offers that it's due to lack and goes on to explain that that lack is in part because of plagues like AIDS that took the elders away from us and prevented a void of knowledge. But it's also a reminder that we do have elders like Dr. Kariamu Welsh, and that things happen for a reason, but with intentional work, we can close that gap and set a strong foundation for those that are coming after us. Takeaway number 2, 3 generations. How long does it take to make or to break a tradition? This is a question that I ask my history students in an effort to decolonize the education system, to to open up space for dialogue, because I often have students say things like, oh, I train traditionally. I need you to explain that. Traditions are relative, so what does your training traditionally mean for the rest of the class so that we're all invited into this discussion? Dr. Kariamu Welsh helps me in my process by offering 3 generations, and she goes on to explain 3 generations of being performed in context of communal living as a marker for what is traditional. So it's a traditional dance if it's been performed for 3 generations in the context in which it originated and in the space in which it originated. Yeah? Takeaway number 3, change, is also informed by Dr. Kariamu Welsh. The quote reads, "Change can be challenging, and changing a perceived past is difficult if one must answer to the living elders who are attached to a particular seemingly unchangeable past." I felt like this spoke to an earlier message of the poly perspectives and the poly truths. So if there's an elder and they have a perceived truth, a perceived reality, it's their perceived truth and it's their perceived reality. But it doesn't mean that it's the only one. And that's why it is important for us to sit at the feet of our elders so that we hear these stories, because history is a collection of stories, so that we hear these stories about the time in which we didn't inhabit, because that time still informs the present and the future. That is also why in the details, you'll see that I am doing an archival project that is doing just that. Me sitting at the feet of the elders, collecting these stories to create a resource that can be used in the educational system and by practitioners outside of academia to document, to preserve, to have a resource of our elders' information. So that's in the details. But also, if you are interested in learning more about West African dance, you can also look in our details, my details. And other than that, like, subscribe, share it, and I'll see you next week.